This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Shaun Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pitstop, the Hump Day edition of the Pitstop, the Ricmotech Hump Day, Hotlap Humpday edition of the Pitstop. How you all doing today? Happy Wednesday, middle of the week to everybody. We are working for the weekend. Thank you for being here for the Pitstop to hang out, chat, talk, BS about sim racing. And again, I've learned for 2020, as pumped up and peppy as I come into the show, we are going to try to slow things down just a little bit for the pit stop, because I really do want it to be about conversation with you guys. We're working on turning on some emotes and things to make it more obvious, but if you have a comment that you think that I just need to see, be sure to type in a couple of exclamation marks and then your comment. If it's a question, just hit me with a couple of question marks and then your question, just so I can see it amongst the chat, as we do turn this as much from a news show into a conversation show as we can. So what's been going on in my world? I have not been here in the studio much, but anybody who follows us on Twitch has seen that there's been activity in the studio with or without me. So the Simpit acquired a 3D printer. And if you're on Twitch, hey Twitch, you can see it over there in the corner. YouTube, it's over there in the corner. You'll just have to take my word for it, or check us out at Simpit Live on Twitch. And so I got a 3D printer to, yes, thank you, Devin, as an example or a question. I had done that LED light strip project, and it's sitting up there on my monitor, doing a great job. I love it. And it's bare. The wire's exposed, the LEDs are somewhat exposed, and it just looks very garage. And I'd like it to look a little more pro-built. So my plan was to build an enclosure for the lights. That's why I bought the printer. Funny enough, though, I bought the printer and I got it set up. And the first thing I actually printed, this is my very, very first print, and it is a heart-shaped, can you see that? Heart-shaped box and lid. Now, it has this weird base around it, because what I didn't know about 3D printing is that things can print with a base or not. Anyway, I'm not going to turn this into a 3D printing, but I have been learning what it's like. The second thing I printed, funny enough, because my printer was actually doing a pretty good job, it printed that fairly well, was Dave H. Laser Cutter had designed a wheel, a centerpiece for a wheel with the SP logo. So this is a 70 millimeter bolt powdered. I'm going to try to get it in a way that you guys can see. You can't see the detail. There we go. You can see the SP logo and the 6 bolts. What I didn't know was this brim or raft are the two options. None brim or raft. This little extra piece around it. And I was kind of wondering, I'm like, God, I thought the holes went through. Well, I didn't know it builds a foot for it. So I built this. So that came out, and I can clean it up. I really should print another one without that bottom piece. Then I did myself a cell phone case, because I have a crack on the back of my phone, not on the glass. The crack on my phone is on the back corners, and it annoys the heck out of me. So I printed up a case, and again, I didn't realize it has this thing on the bottom, and so I peeled it off, and it kind of ruined the print. So again, I'm still going through learning certain things. The raft is too thick. The brim seems to be just right. The next thing I printed, actually the phone was not next. This was next. And this is what I thought was a failure. But now that I'm reanalyzing it, I don't think it was a failure. What it was I was having it build this friggin' raft on it, and it was really changing the color. Yeah, I have some black. This is the test roll they gave me that I'm burning through in white. So anyway, I stopped this print, but I almost want to hit go on this print. It might have been just fine. This was just the raft being built. And then I printed this little car. I'm going to get over with this fairly quickly. But yeah, this little, it's hard to see. It's a Porsche. It's tiny. And it's got, again, the raft on it. But I've learned my lesson. See, I can break it off of this one just to show you. So this raft would break off. In the case of the brim, it breaks off fairly easy. In the case of the raft, it's a little more substantial. And I believe the purpose of that is to be able to, for things that don't want to stay down or are fragile. And then lastly, just to test how good my printer really was doing. Yes, this is going to be the LED holder, Devin. Yes. This is an Eiffel Tower. Now, you can see a mistake right here. It was fragile there, and my brother broke it. But you can see it did a pretty good job. I mean, it's hard to see the air. I mean, these are little tiny, tiny pieces. Lots of air in those. You know, it's pretty free. I was very impressed with how it did. There are some flaws in it. It's not perfect. I'm still using the stock head, and that's it. Yes, this is exactly why nothing else is getting done. I've been completely in it. No, and then yesterday I was away. I do some freelance work, and I was doing some programming of sims, working on sim setups and things yesterday, all day long down in Los Angeles. So that's why I was away all of yesterday. But I left the printer going, so people on Twitch watched this print while I was away, and then the night before, people on Twitch watched this print while I was away, the SP logo. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get on to the news, but that is what's been going on at the Simpit. The main thing, of course, is that, and I think today, as soon as we have this show done, I think we're going to try to get the printer in a good spot, and we're going to try to reprint this and see if it works out better, and we're going to do it with just the brim. Actually, this is probably the type of thing you can build without any bottom, so I think I'll try that. Anyway, I've been having a lot of fun with that. You can pick up a 3D printer for $200-300. Mine costs about $500. And I can see already that it'll be worth it because I'm already having enough fun that it's worth it. And then we'll see what kind of cool projects we can get to with it. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with the news. What's going on in the world of iRacing? No, we cover more than that here. Main thing going on at iRacing is all the teams showing off and making their big announcements. We've talked about a few of those that happened at that iRacing Media Day that caused such a hoopla. That was the title of my stream on Twitch, by the way, was watching paint dry. Anyway, Stuart Haas talking about their drivers being, Dylan Duvall, and what are the names? And Justin Bolton are their two drivers. Zach Novak and Jimmy Mullis to drive for Richmond Raceway. Jim Beaver announcing their drivers. Unchanged lineup from last year. Michael Grigla and Eric J. Smith. Excuse me. What else? Also at iRacing. So iRacing, that was the big thing is about those announcements going on. So check this out. This is really cool. Boom. How iRacing helped reset a Chili Bowl glitch. A digital scan of the dirt bull ring proved valuable when racing didn't look right. Racers will return to the Chili Bowl Nationals on Wednesday to completely different track from the one they left the night before. So this was Tuesday night this went on. That's because the entire racing surface had been reworked overnight by track prep masterman Brad Gravel Chandler. While Tony Stewart receives much of the spotlight on race week for tilling the racing surface or driving a water truck around the 5th mile bull ring, Gravel has conducted much of the heavy lifting over the past month. Blah, blah, blah. So Chandler reached out to iRacing Executive Vice President Steve Myers for feedback since the racing simulator platform conducted a laser scan of the Tulsa Expo Raceway back in 2018. Throughout the races today and yesterday, we couldn't get the bottom fast enough, Chandler said. So I went to Steve and I'm like, I need to know what the radius is on the outside. That way, I have my reference points on the inside with more reference points on the outside. Anyway, the guy who builds the track for the Chili Bowl, which Bell went on to win. Here's our picture of the day. Chris Bell winning the Race of Champions. But anyway, they used the scan to build the track to the level or the way they wanted it to be. I think that is a new era of sim racing. That's why I'm kind of making a big deal about this. I don't think that we've ever heard of something like this happening before, where the sim helped the real life counterpart. Literally. Anyway, resistance is futile. I'm part of the printer collective. I've got the disease, Heiko. Today, as soon as this show's over, I'm going to start another print while I have other shit to do. Oh. How are we going to handle that? I am in the middle of a 50 push-up challenge. That's push-ups, you guys. I got to do 10 right now. That was gross. That was blatant. I'm very sorry for that. I apologize to my grandmother for not having a better word to express myself than that. You guys are all over it. But yeah, I'm going to buy a new head and a silent board and all sorts of little upgrades. All right. Oh, wow, I'm sore. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm sore. Ooh. Okay, let's not do that again. Wait, Devin, I did 40 on a live stream the other day. All right, what else do we have to talk about? This next piece of news is actually big. Where is it? Okay, well, they really underplayed it. So Assetto Corsa posted this just 2 hours ago. We're bringing Liquid Moly Bathurst to Assetto Corsa Competizione as part of our upcoming Intercontinental GT Pack. Stay tuned to our community channels for more info, including a launch date. And then they have a link to that. So then if you go here, you've got update 1.2, which came out yesterday. Was that yesterday? No. December 17th. Wait, I'm sorry. I totally tripped out there. I don't even want to tell you what kind of brain fart that just went on there. 1.2 was new to me. I'm sorry. We've covered that already. This was not about that. This is about the Liquid Moly Bathurst track. I'm very sorry about that. I was all excited for the update because yesterday, and doing what I was doing yesterday, I realized there was a 1.2 update, which I've talked about on the news back on last month. Anyway, but check this out. These are some cool shots of Bathurst, which is part of the coming update, to be more clear, that being their Intercontinental GT Pack. Stay tuned to their community channels for more info, including a launch date. Wow. 1.2.3, so it's 3 updates to the 1.2 variation, with 1.2 being the big build, so to speak. Is that properly worded? Anyway, sorry about that little, yeah. What else? R Factor 2. So Sim Formula 2020, they have their, they didn't even give it the proper title. This their dev diary. What do they call their things? This one isn't even one of the officials, but we're counting down the days to the Sim Formula 2020 event. Did we mention that entry for this event, all 4 days, is absolutely free, except for the ESport convention on Thursday evening? You can get via special free Sim Formula only entrance. Anyway, but this is the floor plan page. Do we have that? Oop, I didn't want to do that. I love this room when we're printing. Anyway, pop. A lot of uhs for me today. That's part of slowing down. So here is the plan for it. Thursday is the eSport convention. Friday is the student seminar. Saturday is the Be the Fastest. And Sunday being the championship day. Cannabis-infused printer filament. Anyway, and then, no, that's their old update. There you go. Roadmap. That's what they call it. Roadmap, you guys. Also posted from R Factor is the 4th of 5 planned TGR NZ 2020 Castrol Toyota Racing Series circuits is out now. Hampton Downs presents tight hairpins and high elevation change. You know, elevation changes is one of my favorite things. I've never raced a lap at Hampton Downs. And is available in the Engineering Consult R Factor 2 workshop for free. So we have a couple photos. Ooh, that's a cool looking track. We are looking at the track, not the cars. Hampton Downs. That sounds like a horse racing track, doesn't it? Toyota Gazoo Racing. That's what the GZR is, by the way. Hampton Downs Motorsport Park. Ooh, we have more photos than were posted there. That's in New Zealand? Yeah, New Zealand. Hampton. I think I've driven this track before. Looks like there are multiple layouts in this map picture. What sim did we drive this in? Hampton Downs, New Zealand. I've been on this track. If somebody could please tell me what sim, it had to have been R Factor. Original R Factor would be my guess. I've raced here. Hampton Downs Motorsport Park is located in northern Waikato, New Zealand. It has been in use since 2010. The 2.63-kilometer national circuit features a very challenging first corner and very narrow hairpin halfway through the lap. The modern facility around the track includes Bruce McLaren Trust, the HQ of Toyota Gazoo, a on-track hotel and apartments, a business park, and the convention center. Was it GTR? YK2. Thank you, Izzy. YK2. Dirt Rally. Why did I care about this? Oh, because they're just talking about Season 4. Season 4. It's the New Zealand version of Interlagos. Season 4 Dirt Rally is now going on. So with that, the Seat Ibiza RX at Spain, all-wheel drive, and the Renault Megane. The Renault Megane. See, old dogs can learn new tricks. And the Ford Fiesta Rallycross are the disciplines running for Season 4 in Dirt Rally 4 for those of you looking for competition. So periodically, Codemasters releases various different guides. You remember just, might have been Monday, might have been Friday. We talked about their wet weather guide. They're giving you hints on how to set the car up and how to drive wet weather in Codemasters 2019, F1 2019. Anyway, they did put together a complete assembly. So if you go to their Twitter page and look at this, it'll take you to here. So here's wet weather, here's brakes and tires. I guess there are 5 of them in total. Was hoping for some new stages. Yeah, Dirt Rally. This is the winning car. I don't know why I brought this up. This is kind of news, I guess. So Fernando Alonso has chosen the winner of the F8 Racing eSport Logitech livery contest, and it's a beauty. Congrats to Kage Matsuri, whose livery will be included in their Season 2 content drop. Drop the content, right? Hey, Brad, how you doing? I need someone to tell me why your tracks are in winter if you launch AC through Content Manager. I don't know. Because it's winter? Is it using real time? Fernando! Anyway, decent looking paint job. What else? NASCAR Heat. Today on Twitch I was telling people some of the posts I'm seeing are like people are just waking up for the new year. But anyway, NASCAR Heat, who we haven't heard a lot of from, and the reason I say it is the last post was New Year's Eve. But we are 15 days into 2020. Share with us your favorite 2019 NASCAR photo moment to enter a chance to win a copy of NASCAR Heat 4. So if you want to win a copy, I don't know. I mean, it just kind of, to me, is kind of bizarro that I don't even know if they mean the game, and then I own the game, so why would I want a copy? And am I allowed to share NASCAR photos? Probably with them, I guess I am. No, nobody has talked about that, Brad. Joa asked if I'm going to get the new Accuforce open wheel rim. I would like to get that. People would stop teasing me for using my giant wheel. So I haven't talked to them about sending me one. I probably should. The other thing I was giving thought to, I was actually giving thought to buying like a Momo or a Sparco, like a flat bottom, round, small wheel, like maybe somewhere 11 to 12 inches, or like 270 to 290. So, okay, what else? Of course, just like Joa did, you see Joa typed in a few questions, Joa being I've been cruising, a couple of question marks, so it was very easy to realize that somebody had a question specifically of me. Hotlap Humpday! Okay, so today is, we are into 2020. Hotlap Humpday was a year-long competition running on the third Wednesday of every month, hosted by Ricmotech. I live streamed all 12 events. I think I missed one event for the whole season. Devin Booth filled in for me on that occasion. Actually, I missed two maybe now that I think about it. And Devin filled in on both of those occasions. Thank you, Devin Booth. We are going to do the same thing this year. It looks like there are no changes for the most part. We are going to continue on with Hotlap Humpday. You were talking about me, Kevin Ford of Extreme Motorsports, who is maybe one of the best announcing voices I've ever heard, sits there for 4 hours calling the action, harassing me while I'm trying to be a participant in the Hotlap competition. We will probably have Robbie Unser there almost every time. He's really into it, been having a blast. He's usually there with us. We are going to have 2 cameras from Florida with Ricmotech. You're going to hear from various people down in Florida as well. So we're going to keep that going. It starts today. Go to ricmotech.com. You can check out information there. Join us on the stream. I'll be on Twitch probably somewhere between 2:30 on my time, with the competition beginning at 3 my time, or for other people, that'd be 5 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be going on the air on Twitch, 5 to 5:30, and then we will go live on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that will be live Hotlap action. We do have some clues. I'm assuming we're running Detroit. I know when we look for our camel, we're looking for the camel. When you go to the Ricmotech, if you want to get, I still don't know. So like right now, I don't know what graphic or description to put up for the show. I don't know where we're racing or what car we're racing. But, and I don't think we have any this month, but sometimes there'll be teasers and you're just looking for anything that would imply that it is in reference to Hotlap Humpday. So the only clue I do see for sure, here's the announcement of Hotlap Humpday. Boom. And here is a clue for sure. So Detroit, Michigan, I mean, that's pretty blatant. Does that mean we're running the oval? Does that mean we're running the road course? I don't know. But Nissan GTP at Detroit or the Audi 90, I like both of those ideas, Devin. So tune in tonight for that. Should be a lot of fun. Oh, that's cool. Aussie Stig made it down to Ricmotech in Miami. That's cool. And here's another announcement of our Hotlap Humpday challenge with the Simpit. Anyway, should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it as usual. So this is, okay. This isn't sim racing related, but it is totally sim racing related. So LGR Oddware, I don't know them. This was sent in by Mr. Thawman. Thank you, Mr. Thawman. Check this out. You can now get a thermal take. Hold on. Wait for it.
Greetings and welcome to LGR Oddware, where we're taking a look at hardware and software that is odd, forgotten, and obsolete. And this time it is the bafflingly named Thermal Take X-Ray. Don't know why it's called that. As far as I know, it has nothing to do with radiation. Let's hope. Yep, that's...
Wait.
It's like any car one. Oh, I hear something. Oh, yeah, man, that is thoroughly lit up there.
That is a thermal take cigarette
well,
lighter.
that works. And actually a little quicker than I thought it might. I wasn't sure. I don't know. I wasn't sure. You never know with these things, weird thermal take devices. Okay, so let's try to light things, I suppose. It says beverage holder on the actual package, but you know what? This just strikes me as kind of an ashtray type thing because of this removable tray. And the inside of there is also, it's got another nickel, but yeah, man. Yep.
Oh, look, cigarette adapters for chargers. Why would you want to do that, though, versus a USB? That's... Anyway, yeah, I thought a few of you out there would really, get legal help. A few of you would really enjoy that, and it was kind of funny.
Appear to have a few...
cup holder on your computer. I don't think that's all that smart. I wouldn't put a cup or an ashtray on my computer. I just wouldn't. Zwift Insider talking about this. So the Missouri Indoor Racing Series ESport State Championship. I told you guys they're going to do a junior boys, girls, open men's masters over 45, open women, blah, blah. Anyway, this is going to be an official ESport competition. I would like to know, and I wonder if they'll tell us. I want to know how many watts of electricity are created at this ESport competition. So racers must register and pay $15 in order to participate in each race. They can join in remotely from home or use any of the 8 trainer stations available at Urban Chestnut Brewing Company, the sponsor of the competition. I would love to know, if you took 100 cyclists, it's going to be more than that if they're doing 6 classes, by the way. So let's say it's 200 cyclists running races on what is essentially an electricity making machine. Now, they've turned it into a video game, so it's working a little bit the opposite. But if all that was hooked up to generators, how much electricity would they be generating? All right, what else? Forza Horizon 4 Update 18. This comes to us from Game & Guides. I know I talked about the Update 18, but this is maybe a little bit more details than I gave you. Update 18, 4 new cars, showcase remix, and more. Forza Horizon, 18 new cars, it says. Anyway, the Hummer. Did you guys hear, and tell me how wrong you think this is. The Hummer, 20 years ago, was the car that all the anti-gas burning cars, it was like the poster child of waste. The Hummer was, funny enough. I have heard that GM is going to bring the Hummer back as an EV vehicle, and I just thought, that is odd. That is ironic almost. Yeah, I thought, wow. Anyway, added 2 Forza, the 2006 Hummer H1 Alpha, 1964 Porsche 356 Cabriolet, 1985 Toyota Sprinter Treno, 2018 Lamborghini Huracan Performante. Any of you guys watch Barrett-Jackson? The auction. Totally side story. I don't know. I was watching Barrett-Jackson yesterday, and we are seeing a changing of the times. So I know that the Bullet Mustang went for $3.5 million, or $4 million, $3.5, I think. I know that the Eleanor from Fast and the Furious, Gone in 60 Seconds, sold for, I believe it was $800,000. I keep saying I know. I think it was $800,000. Obscene amounts of money for those 2 cars. However, the typical Mustang, unless it had some famous person or lineage, was actually going for less money than, are you ready? VWs, Toyotas. It's really the Japanese cars on the collector market, the 70s era Japanese cars and the early VW products are now starting to get obscene amount of money. That would have been the cool buy. You could have picked up some of these cars for nothing. And actually, in the case of like a Toyota trucks are going through the roof. You can restore them to perfection pretty easily because the parts are readily available. Like I saw AMC Javelin across the board yesterday, and I thought, man, that's got to be a tough car to bring back to modern or new, because where do you find parts for an AMC Javelin? You'd have to custom make every single part just to do it. So anyway, moving on. I was just the first time that I actually saw Japanese and VWs selling for more money than what normally would have broke the bank from America. I saw some really nice American cars that went for really, really reasonable prices. Like there was this really weird gaudy Camaro that was kind of ugly. It was overdone, but it was like so much car, and it went for like $15,000, and it was like, oh my God, there's like $100,000 worth of parts there, and now somebody scooped it up for 15, and it was perfect. Like you know, take it to a car show, perfect. Anyway, Forza Horizon 4, the Toyota and the Lamborghini Huracan, I mentioned that. So there you go. That was Operation Sports. Half Gen. Oh, I went retro today, you guys. I'm just going to give a shout out. It isn't often that you actually hear me talk about my past, but anyway, a little shout out to the past for everybody. But That is an original SRT Inside Sim Racing show from the old days that I'm actually using today on Hump Day. 121,000 for a Matchbox car? That's insane. So here's an article by Half Gen. Knowing when to step away from your clan, your team, or your gaming group. We talk about various levels of burnout. There's articles on streamer burnout. That's just a different type. We all face burnout in different times. And I think that one of the most important things one can do. So I'm just going to use myself as an example. Let's just say that I become very big in this 3D printing community, and I start going to like local 3D shows, and I make some 3D printing friends, and we're always chatting together and hanging out together. And 6 months, a year goes by, and I'm just kind of getting a little in a rut. So I go in there and I start becoming irritable, and then maybe even getting in fights with my friends, but I'm just irritable and showing up there. Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is, whether you're talking about sim racing and if you're in a rut in sim racing, I've said it before, walk away. I'm not saying sell your gear. Wait till long before you get to that point. Walk away. Take a couple weeks off. Take a month off. Go do one of your other hobbies that you used to do more, but you stopped doing because you're sim racing. And I want to say the same thing. If you're on a team and your teammates are annoying you, maybe it's time to walk away just for a little while. Tell them, hey, you know what? My life's getting really busy with work and the kids. I'm going to be gone for a month. I'll be back next month. Don't give my spot away, but I'll be back in a month. This article is just telling you when to recognize those points, and it can apply to your clan, your team, your gaming group. It can also apply to your actual hobby. And I'd say the same thing about anything. I mean, like, even if you're into, like, cycling. I love cycling, even though I don't do it enough. Yeah, I wish we could walk. Rockjaw, I don't think they realize how effective time away would be even to employees. Now, I'm not talking about if you work at McDonald's, don't expect vacation time. But if you work in any kind of work that is heavy and there's a difference between the good employees and the bad employees in terms of performance, I think that they need to understand that occasionally throwing people some extra vacation time or a 3-day weekend or go home early does wonders to clear the brain. I mean, there is a point where you can overwork to the point where you're just not going to be as stimulated. Same thing with sim racing. If you sim race all day, every day, you're just going to be like, meh. But if you step away, you're going to be like, watch a race or see a cool car, and you're going to come running back to it. Repetitive stress harms the body. When I leave town to go on a trade show gig, I'll email your boss, JT. I come back with a bunch of, when I am not here, I come up with more ideas for the show than when I'm sitting here. When I'm away, I come back wanting to get into my rig, like dying to get into my rig, dying to get back to work. So, recognize these moments. If it's playing a role in the guys you hang out with, and I bring this up also, I mean, we have a group of guys, the Simpit patron group, the Discord channel, we're all good friends, and we spend a lot of time together. But, sometimes it gets a little touchy. Sometimes you just got to know, hey, I'm going to walk away before it becomes an incident. If you're on an endurance team and practice is getting intense, maybe take a night off just to not deal with it. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry. You come up with your best ideas on the toilet. I think you're not alone there. Anyway, all right. Just on Monday, I was talking about how the PC market is being squashed. They're trying to get rid of us to an extent, which will never happen. Well, never's a long time, but here's an article from PC World saying the PC market, once left for dead, actually grew during 2019. So it was a great year for computers. I would say a lot of that is that the video cards have been going through massive expansion. Parts prices outside of video cards have become very reasonable. And anyway, JT, if you go to patreon.com/the Simpit, The Discord channel is part of our patron program, and you can get information there. Sometimes push-ups happen. Yes, they do. Did I don't know anymore. I just the one, right? At least today. So here's an article here from Respawn First talking about GTA 4. Grand Theft Auto 4 just got delisted from Steam, and no one knows why. Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying no one knows why. I mean, Tofish knew why, and so did the guys over at MCV Develop. Rockstar forced to withdraw GT4 from Steam as it is no longer possible to generate keys. You know, the keys that allow you to get things. Rick has value index for 20... Question. Rick has a Valve index for 2020. Is that a question? I missed something there, Rick. Or should I form that in the phrase of a question? Paul Victor says he's new to sim racing and he's learning from... If we can give some advice on starting out. Paul Victor, first thing I'd say is what sim are you racing? And are you racing offline or online? So hit me with a couple of exclamation marks with the answer to that question. And then me and the whole guys will probably give you some tips on what to do. Start generating because of all the resale sites. What have you? Oh, Rick, you've got yourself a Valve Index for 2020. I was playing with a Valve Index yesterday. It is a really nice VR unit. I just don't know if I would spend that much money to play the games that I've been playing. Now, for sim racing, hands down, absolutely. Valve Index supplies had deleted to 0. Emoji. Solid rig, good seating position, and you're good to go. Yes, that's some... Here's my best advice. If I don't get the answer, I'll give you this and I'll look for your answer to me and we'll get you more on that. But when you're a sim racer, you are the driver, you are the driving coach, and you are also the engineer. And you need to put on different hats at different times to get the most out of it. So one thing I would definitely recommend is get used to and make a pattern of watching your replays and being critical of your driving. The fastest thing to do in racing is to drive it correctly. Get around the track right. Hit your apex. Hit your marks. Brake. If it's a stable car, brake in the moments that it gets the most braking. If it's an unstable car, making sure that you're not braking too late and putting yourself in jeopardy. So be critical of your mistakes, and when you make mistakes, be honest with yourself about what happened so that you can cure the problem. Tofi, I got it. Thank you. What they are talking about is... Boom. Index sold out in all 31 regions. Valve working hard to meet demand ahead of Half-Life. Oh, that's why for Half-Life, sure. January 14th, after a comprehensive check of the Valve Index stock and availability, so we found that the headset is sold out across the globe. Boom. Sold out. Japan. You can get them in Japan. Anyway, so they're working on that demand. Thank you for that update to the show. Thank you very much. B-Sim Racing has an article here talking about iRacing. iRacing 2020 season patch 2 was released. I've seen a few of these patches already. Just, when you go to iRacing and all of a sudden there's randomly, for no reason, an update, that was a patch. All right. Billboard Racing. Awesome. Valve Index has a half-life of 2 years. Does that mean it'll last you 4 years? 4 years total? So anyway, here's the update to the update to the update and all the details if you want to know about it. What else? What else to talk about? This is cool. Check this out. I don't know if I'm going to be at this or not. I'm going to try. Join Road and Track and Auto Week for our Ultimate Sim Circuit competition in Los Angeles. Hosted by Matt Farah at sim racing venue Base 51. You'll be able to race against the clock and against other readers for a chance to be crowned champion. Any of you guys see this? Any of you have plans on going to this? So they are charging, I believe, admission. Yeah, so tickets are $75 for drivers and $25 for spectators. Ouch. It's all going down March 25th at Base 51. I don't know. You know, when I talked to Chris, he's like, yeah, they rented the place. So this, even though it's Base 51, they've taken over the Road and Track and Auto Week. And so anyway, if you guys want to see me there, you should inquire and tell them that they should get Shaun Cole of the Simpit, who's local, to come on down. I'll hit them up, but I'm not even sure if they're going to care. So let's see. Yes, I cannot wait for Hotlap Humpday. I love Hotlap Humpday. Anyway, okay. Excuse me. Flow Racers, I'm not going to go into great detail. Flow Racers put out the 5 best sim racing gear stick shifters for pro buyers. The word pro there. My questions to you guys, what's your pick? What do you think is the best shifter that a sim racer could get? If we are going to advise people on the shifter of shifters to get, what is your personal pick? Anyway, here are the picks of Flow Racers. They say the Fanatic Club Sport, the PSL Sequential Shifter, the Thrustmaster TH8A, the A-Logs Sequential Shifter, or the Husingveld Sim Shifter Sequential. That's a fine list. But you did, if you're talking pro buyers, in my opinion, the top dog is the Quaif Shifter. You can't beat the Quaif Shifter. That thing's a monster. That thing's insane. It's ridiculous. It's downright ridiculous. Anyway, there's a picture of that one and things they're talking about. But what are your picks? Well-rounded for a good price, sure. But pro, when I see the word pro, I'm thinking this is sort of like, you know, hey, whatever it takes. You know? Anyway, all right, what else? GT Planet. This is cool. I mean, it isn't cool. This is old. This is very old. GT Planet, talking about. It was 8 years ago today. That was actually yesterday. GT Academy recorded the first all-gamer endurance race podium 8 years ago. Do you guys remember that? This was a very big deal. This is one of those turning points in sim racing when the world had to just realize exactly who we are, and that we are to be taken seriously. This was Lucas Ordonez, Lars Schlommer, Jan Martinborough, and Brian Heitkotter. So this was the 4-man endurance team that made the podium 8 years ago yesterday. They meant pro versus con. Okay, so I almost threw this out. I guess I'm just showing you the legs it's gotten. This is this whole thing between a couple of NASCAR drivers getting ruffled feathers over the attention or money or contracts or whatever that the NASCAR ESport drivers were getting. And I just think, man, are you guys really threatened by a bunch of eSport guys? I mean, are you threatened by their money? Because none of them are making as much as the lowest paid NASCAR driver. Are you worried about their attention? Because this is a 1 day out of the year amount of attention, the attention that a real life racer gets. Are you upset that they want to be taken seriously for the skills that they have? Why are you NASCAR guys so threatened at the concept that eSport drivers actually have some talent. Need I bring up this story as my reference to the absurdity of NASCAR guys? They're being afraid of being replaced, but they have such a huge advantage being that high up the ladder. They're not going to just be replaced by just some sim racing driver. And there's no team owner in the world who's going to sign a sim racer to a long-term real-life contract without having tested to make sure he's got the je ne sais quoi in the real-life track. So anyway, whatever. That's my, come on, guys. I'm tired of, if you know the name of a NASCAR driver, he is a privileged person in this world. And I don't think that you could say any of the eSport drivers are quite to the point of being privileged. They're egotistical narcissists. Is he? That? Okay, what else? WCCF Tech, best sport and racing games of the decade. Oh, I hate these articles. Anyway, what did they talk about racing? Forza and Forza Horizon. I can understand that. Rocket League, do we call that a car game? Gran Turismo, represented by Gran Turismo 6. What? I don't know what the hell they're talking about there. Codemasters Dirt and Dirt Rally, represented by Dirt Rally 2. Honorable mentions, we got a few of those as well. Grid, Ride 3, Wreckfest, Project Cars, Blur, Need for Speed. Anyway, okay, there you go. Whatever. I hate those lists. When Billy Strange and I were doing the Beyond the Sim show, one of the topics that came up a few times that both of us have been kind of eyeballing, watching over, thinking about is when is some of the eSport prize money going to trickle down to the everyday guy? It can't only all be up there at that $500,000 F1 2019 level. I mean, we need to bring that down. There needs to be prizes, competitions, awards. Lionheart's here. I talked to 2 different Lionheart winners who were both blown away by the amount of prizes and compensation they got for their winnings. So here, Wicked Cushion Esport Championship Series. This is one of the bigger ones, but this is not necessarily the ones that's going to draw the biggest names in the world. I want to see more of this across different disciplines is what I'm getting at. But they are going to have $2,500 in prize money and a chance to drive Scott Gobrecht's 410 sprint car. The event will be composed of 96 of the best sim racers on dirt, competing both online and in person at the show in York. The feature race will be made up of 12 in-person drivers alongside 12 online racers, giving a slight edge to the in-person racers, by the way. Rip the Cushion's going to this event. Awesome. Rip, you're going to have to give us some insider story on it, just so we know what's going on. Yeah, aren't they? They totally are, Amir. What else? So this is cool. This is going to be a great event and a great opportunity. The winner will get $700 of that $2,500 and a chance to drive. A chance sounds like what? They're going to roll the dice or flip a coin, or is that an opportunity or a chance? That's just wording, I'm sure. ETS 2 and ATS New Location previews. We've talked a little bit about these. This was posted yesterday at Race Department, but European Truck Sim is going to see Iberia coming soon. The Iberian Peninsula. Eric Hardiman, thank you very much, buddy. Eric getting in on the donation stream. Keeping the wheels turning here at the Simpit. Gotta love it. Thank you so much, Eric. Freaky Jedi, Eric. Uh-oh. There we go. Come on, we're trying to update this for Izzy's sake. It'll update. It just takes a little while. Come on. Sometimes I have to restart that thing to get it to update. Okay, what else? American Truck Sim. Get you some potatoes. American Truck Sim now having Idaho coming to it. Very cool. Someone just the other day was asking me, are there a lot of expansions or mods for ATS and ETS? And I was like, oh my God. to be honest with you, and tell me if I'm wrong here, I think that these two sims, American Truck and Euro Truck Sims, are the closest thing. Wait for me to get it out of my mouth before you argue. The closest things to flight sim in gaming. And by that I mean, I think that there might be more buy it content packs, more community mod packs and expansions. You got people doing multiplayer truck where like you join a virtual trucking company. Back like in Flight Sim, when I was back into that, we'd join a virtual airline and you'd get an email from them saying, Pilot Cole, you're going to fly from such and such at this time. And know that when I get there are going to be people on the microphone doing ATS, the telling me where to go and when to go. And you're accountable for your actions. And it's not just fly around. It's very, very playing with others in just like real life, simulating the whole aspect of being a pilot. And I know that at this point, there are guys who are taking ETS and ATS and playing it to that exact level. And there are so many, and then you get these detail kits. It's like, well, I've driven the Southern California region in American Truck, and it's like, okay, obviously it's not LA. It actually reminds me of Flight Sim from, let's say, oh gosh, you probably have to go back 15 years ago, where like, if you knew Southern California, there would be enough iconic landmarks, and they're in the right areas that you would be able to oh yeah, I'm definitely in LA. Now, were you really driving up the 405? No. But it resembled certain aspects of it. So I'd like to see them get to that level. If you look at the growth, because a lot of people play these sims, and they're really fun. They are fun if you take it seriously. I'd like to see a little more realism in some of the carnage. Not the crashes itself, but the damage, some of the road violations, things like that. I think I'd like to see a little more realism added in that respect from what I've seen. But anyway, I do think that they are kind of the leaders when it comes to community mods, expansions from the game itself to take it to that next level and things like that. So anyway, congratulations as they crank out content, and you can check that out at Race Department. Xbox Series X won't get exclusive first-party titles for at least a year. The other thing that I read about this, these rollouts that are coming in the holidays are kind of weird, soft rollouts. I'm not hearing, typically when a console comes out, there are like 2, 3, 4 main titles, like Halo, for example, with the Xbox, or Forza, or both. Where the next gen of those are ready to go with the game out of the gate, where they could be selling you even the kit, the Forza pack version with the special controller or whatever. Anyway, apparently this time around, both Xbox and Sony, from what I've seen, are not really coordinating the timing or the magnitude of these releases. This being the 9th generation of consoles, they're calling it, this article here. But anyway, one of the titles here is, one of the things I did take out of this is that Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, confirmed first-party games will play on any of the current Xbox family of consoles, at least for the time being. So the new games that are coming out, the flagship games from Microsoft, are going to work on the new gen, but they're also going to work on your old Xbox One. So you're not going to have to upgrade in order to play the titles, at least for probably the first 12 months is my guess from the way this article says. Don't quote me on that, but that's my guess. All right, one more piece of news and then we'll move along for the day and get on to other business. But KT Racing, that's the group behind the TT Isle of Man game. TT Isle of Man 2 partners with Davey Todd and Julian Tunietti to create realistic simulation with optimized riding physics. So now they are actually working with real-life drivers to hopefully improve the feel or the drive or the way that game plays. So that could be good things for the future of the TT Isle of Man game. I did play that game. That was fun. That was a fun game for sure. And now we're just going to look at a few sim rigs for motivation, DIY motivation for most of you out there. What do we got here? We've got a DIY rig. That is, I'm going to call this a expanded Deathmobile. This is sort of, in my mind, what I'm going to do next. My next Deathmobile, which I keep teasing, really need to get onto it, is going to have more of a center console. Instead of just being the bare bones minimum, I'd like some things like a cup holder, like some LED lights, or a built-in button box, or a shifter mount. Those were the kind of things that were missing from the original Deathmobile. The other thing is, I think the Deathmobile is a great design. It's simplistic, it's rigid, it's cheap. But you know, a little attention to detail could go a long way of making a Deathmobile look a little more like a custom rig than a Deathmobile. That is a deep dish wheel. Good eye, David Payne. And that looks like it's on a Logitech G29 or 920. I can never remember which one's which. But that looks like it's on a Logitech G-Series wheel. That is quite the thing. Yes, I do mean like yours, Heiko. All right, what else? A couple more rigs. Another Deathmobile. This one posted by Guns and Coffee 1911. Not the prettiest rig on here, but I built it myself and it works great. I love it. It's a modified version of the 2x4 plan on opensimracing.com. There you go. Or you could have just watched my old show on Inside Sim Racing. Sorry. Okay, what else? AC Drifter. That was an AC drifting setup. eBay Handbrake. So this is a good-looking Deathmobile. I like this. He's a wider platform, so this is not a minimalistic version. And it looks like it allows for some inverted or some pedal rake as well. And good job there. Notice all the bare Deathmobiles. Again, a little paint goes a long way. And then finally, here we go. Is that a P1 or is that just a home build? That's a P1 with a Sparco seat mount and seat. That's a nice seat for a rig right there, by the way. My race sim with my new PC build. This posted by Sumdong. And that is a hell of a setup. Fanatic wheel. Can't see what pedals. It looks like... I can't tell for sure. I think those are... Yeah, Club Sport pedals. Club Sport wheel. He obviously has some VR because there's his controllers and he's running a single monitor. And this setup looks way too sophisticated for a single monitor unless you're running VR. So I'm going to... Dude, look at this lampshade. Can you guys see this? Do you see this lamp? Oh, I love it. That is a wheel rim as a lampshade. Now, obviously, it's not going to let light come through the shade. It's only going to go above and below, so it's kind of a sucky lamp, actually. But that is a cool-looking lamp. Anyway, great-looking rig. That is going to do it for today's show. I think that before I go, one more time, I will plug today's efforts, and that being Hotlap Humpday. So today, we will be back on the air today at 3 o'clock on YouTube. We're going to be back at 3 o'clock my time. That would be 6 p.m. Eastern time. 3D print that lamp. That's a good idea. That looked pretty big. My printer can only do like 13 inches, but I can do a small version. Actually, I have an idea. That's a great idea, Theodore. Thank you. I'll be on the air back on Twitch sometime between 2 and 3 so that we can set up the stream. Get in there with Kevin, get in there with Frank, get the cameras all set up, get in there with Robbie, get everybody on the audio, video, all that ready to go. I have to figure out what the car and track combo is so I can make a graphic and a description, all that good stuff. So anyway, that is coming up today. Should be a lot of fun. Until then, I'm going to clean up my room. My room is a total mess. There's plastic crap everywhere. I want to change the spool to black. And I would like to print some more. I want to reprint this and see if it actually works. I'd like it to do in black, and then we can move on with that DIY project part 2 coming up as well. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of the pit crew and making it fun to hang out and talk about sim racing each and every day. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.